This is going to be your weekly tarot and oracle forecast. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. We're going to take a look at the energies for the upcoming week, break it down day by day, and let you know how to navigate. So I start off by asking my usual question, how do you feel? You know, when I'm in my lives on TikTok and Instagram, I always ask everybody, what's the word of the day? So, you know, what's your word of the day today when you're seeing this? Or what's your word of the week? How have you been feeling? Because, yeah, it's an interesting time. You know, I've been saying it in a lot of my videos that people have been telling me they feel numb. They've been on an emotional roller coaster. They know something is brewing. And I've been talking about this metaphorical line a lot lately where you can just feel like we're about to cross a line into something and there's no going back. And that's scary for a lot of people. So a lot of fears have come to the surface, a lot of emotions, but there's also a lot of really good things coming our way. And we just have to believe that. You know, as I'm filming this, we are approaching Scorpio season. So you're going to be feeling a lot of Scorpio vibes. Mars moved into Scorpio recently, and also Mercury in Scorpio. And the reason why I want to point that out is Mars in Scorpio is a comfortable position because Scorpio is ruled by Mars, right? So there's this element here of movement, even aggression, but not in a dangerous way or anything, just sort of this idea that, you know, we're going to get things moving. We're in a comfortable position to get things moving. And that's what I mean by when we cross that line, there's kind of no going back. Mercury in Scorpio is kind of a double-edged sword in a way, because it's going to make us communicate more intensely, be more open. You know, at the same time, Scorpios can also be a little bit paranoid and overanalyze things. So in other words, you're going to see a lot of Scorpio energy coming to the surface right now. I personally love Scorpio energy, but I know not everybody is into the intensity or the testing or this feeling of deep emotions, right? So anyways, it's going to be an interesting week, right? We also have an upcoming partial lunar eclipse in Taurus, and this is going to bring a close to that eclipse season. You know, I mentioned it recently. Think back to November 2021, where you were, what was going on, what were you embarking on? And if you haven't seen that video that I posted, it's a video that talks about the energies that we've been encountering the last while and where we're at currently and where we're going after this partial lunar eclipse. So we're definitely on the brink of some major change here. And I say that with a bit of a nervous giggle, right? So let's take some overall energies here just to see what we need to know about this upcoming week. And we have Yin. And you know what? I'm not surprised. You just watched me shuffle for what? Almost 3 minutes. And this card came out in the other reading that I did. Okay. So Yin energy is all about receiving. Are you ready to receive it? Are you ready to be in receiving mode? Is receiving mode activated? Is something that I often ask, because now it's time to receive. No risk, no reward. If you don't make those moves, how will you receive? So we can't stay in fear. We can't stay paralyzed in fear. We got to make those moves so we can receive the benefits. So let's get another card about this week. Wondrous universe, walk in beauty. This screams feminine energy to me. Okay, and that's not about gender, as you know. It just means appreciate, have gratitude. You know, I heard somebody say something wonderful recently, and I think it may have been even Tony Robbins. It was this quote that said, you know, you can't be angry when you're in gratitude. You know, if you found yourself being angry recently, that means you were blocking your gratitude. And so, you know, I just remind all of you to receive. Look at the beauty that's around you, you know, embrace it, appreciate it, soak yourself up in it. And I know that's hard sometimes. You know, I said this the other day in another reading where I think it's really hard for people when they don't know what abundance looks like or feels like. You know, it feels so far away from us. But you have to look inside your heart, as cheesy as that sounds, and say, what are you thankful for? What are you grateful for that you have? You know, everybody has different trials and tribulations, of course, but what is something that you are incredibly grateful for? I mean, I say that every day about my online family here. I'm so grateful for all of you. I really am. It's the most wonderful experience that I oh my goodness, that I could ever imagine. I never thought in a million years that this is what I'd be doing right now. But all these ups and downs and roads and paths taken have brought me to doing something that I'm extremely passionate about. And I thank you, all of you, for that. Now, with that, we have take a breath. Again, not surprised this card came out the other day. So we have a very constant theme here. Take a breath. Rest. If you're feeling like you need a rest, then take it. Even just sort of take a deep breath before you make a move. It's okay. You know what I would put out there, just as a side note. Many of you know that I was a high school teacher for 19 years, and something that I used to talk about in regards to presentations. I was a language teacher, English teacher, French teacher, business teacher, and I would say to my students, it's okay to take a pause before you say something. Do you ever notice that we as people use the word a lot? And I know I'm guilty of that too sometimes when I'm deep in thought, when I'm reading cards and channeling things. And sometimes that is like a placeholder, right? But I want to remind you that in your daily life, when you're having conversations, whether it's with friends, family, coworkers, whatever you do, it's okay to take a pause. You don't even have to say just be. And when you're ready, you will speak, you will do, you will act. Okay, let's take a look at the upcoming week. I'm going to move these cards out of the way and let's see what we need to know. Okay, let's go to Monday. The energy is gaining momentum. It sure is. I mean, geez, it feels like it's been gaining momentum forever, doesn't it? Now, let's see. On Tuesday, look at the bigger picture. I always say this, we have to think objectively versus subjectively. I know that's really hard for people. You know, it's hard to look at why people do what they do. I always say that's my gift. I understand why people do what they do, even if I don't agree with it. That's why there's no judgment in me. You could tell me anything and I wouldn't flinch because I can understand, I can connect the dots. And a fiery climax approaches, sure is. Okay, not surprised. This energy is very intense. Something is going to come to a head and you're going to have to make a move of some kind. And it's going to bring you some healing. So, you know, this is looking at Thursday, a time for healing. That's seriously beautiful. We need that healing. And on Friday, nothing will come of the situation. It doesn't mean nothing will happen. It means worrying will do nothing for your situation. You know, I think we're in constant worry or in survival mode all the time, and that's not helpful, okay? So let's take a look at Saturday. A time to give rather than take. Now, you know that I'm very big on equal giving and receiving and balance, and I always tell you, stop overgiving. Listen, there are times when it's okay to give. It's time to invest. Sure, invest in something. Invest in yourself. Put yourself out there. It's okay to make moves, okay? Just be aware that reciprocation is very important, especially if we're talking about relationships here. And luck is on your side. So on Sunday, everything is going to feel good. You give a little, you get a little. There's the luck that comes back in return. Now, I'm not talking about being transactional. I'm not big on being transactional with friends and family and coworkers, whatever. But it's important that you recognize that if you put energy out there, you get energy back, right? Energy exchange. So let's take a look, a sneak peek at the following week. And we have work through your fears. New moon in Scorpio. Well, that might be a sign for us because, of course, we're in Scorpio season, basically. And the new moon in Scorpio, I'm not sure what the date is for that, but that might be very significant. So, everybody knows I have my own language of I would just say that there's something coming up. I feel like that new moon in Scorpio date will be important to everybody. Okay, let's go and look at the tarot for the upcoming week. On Monday, we had that energy is gaining momentum. And interesting, this is the 9 of Pentacles. This is reminding you to feel good in your own skin, to believe in yourself. You know, this card says contentment, luxury, independence. It's a card that says, I got this. You know, it's basically considered a pre-Empress energy where, you know, it's, you know, self-worth, self-value, and self-respect because it's really Venus, the sacral chakra. So that's a really nice energy to start with. We're feeling confident. On Tuesday, Look at the bigger picture. The Three of Water in this deck, Three of Cups, celebration, community, and friendships. You know, looking at the bigger picture, there is a lot to be grateful for and to celebrate. I think that's what I was saying to you earlier. You know, what are you grateful for? What are you celebrating? So, I mean, love that a lot. Now, whenever I see three people in a card, I will say two's company, three's a crowd. And, you know, sometimes there are interferences that come into our lives, but we have to navigate that and we have to pick our battles wisely. And this is something that I was talking about in the Eclipse video that I made. You know, you're going to feel a very strong Jupiter energy that basically means it expands everything. Okay, where, you know, you might think something is a bigger deal than it actually is. And that also includes, like, you know, miscommunications or a little bit of fiery energy, because there is going to be a lot of fiery energy as well during this eclipse that we're having. And so you might see a lot of power struggles. You might see yourself conflicted. Should I, shouldn't I? Do I want to be a part of this? This is also about shutting doors, letting go of the past, being open to new things, being able to fully trust. You know, I'm going through something personally that I have to trust. I have to implement what I always say. You know, I would never tell you to do something that I wouldn't do myself. You know, I speak from experience. I teach anecdotally. So when I'm in a situation where I have to trust the process, it's scary for me too. Absolutely. But I also know that I have to look at the bigger picture. And maybe that's my Sagittarius rising in me that has that optimism or that belief. But I always know that if I got to make it or break it, I'm always going to make it. And I invite you all to do the same. You know, this is why I love to do what I do. So a fiery climax approaches on Wednesday. See the Magician. Manifestation, empowerment, preparedness. Ooh, I love this. As I've been saying. You know, it's interesting. The Magician has all the tools. Okay, we know that there's the cup, there's the wand, there's the pentacle, and there's the sword. And all of these things represent, of course, your emotion, your purpose and passion, your tangible things in life, and the sword, your communication and your thoughts. You have all of this within you. So how you choose to manifest is totally up to you, right? Whatever you think, feel, do, say will manifest. We've been manifesting our entire lives, right? So that's why it's always important to be conscious of what energy you put out. And we talked about this earlier. It's an energy exchange, right? So in other words, you can manifest this whichever way you want. It can be difficult or it can be a positive experience. What do you choose, right? So I do think that you are preparing yourself for something really special right now. And I mean, it seems to me that it's a time for healing. So let's see what else we need to know here. Nine of Water, of course. Wishes, dreams, and happiness. I love this because this is ask and you shall receive. And we just talked about manifestation. This is essentially another card of manifestation. Now, nothing will come of the situation on Friday. Let's take a look. The Hermit, introspection, self-discovery, and mentorship. The Hermit is Virgo energy, and that's a card of analysis, or, you know, a sign or energy of analysis, I should say. And this is the thing. You may be feeling very hermited. You may feel like you're in isolation, or maybe that you need to hibernate away somehow. And that's okay if you do, but you have to be careful that you're not overthinking everything. You know, I always talk about this. You can visit the past. You can't live there. I don't want you worrying about things you can't control. I want you to worry about the things you can control. So let's see, on Saturday, we have justice, balance, equal giving and receiving, fairness, the law, karma. Do you know, funny, it goes with this card, a time to give rather than take. What did I say? I said, it's okay to invest. It's okay to give. But of course, we want to have reciprocation, right? And I love this. I think that's a wonderful card to have. We're getting a few major arcanas here, which is really positive, meaning they're major events that are happening in our lives. Now, luck is on your side on Sunday. We have Seven of Fire. Challenge, determination, resistance. Which energy are you in? Are you in receiving mode? Are you going to challenge what's coming in? Are you going to resist it? Or are you determined to embrace it? Determined to feel the change? you know, determined to have new energy. I always talk about this in regards to the Wheel of Fortune, where we say, you know, fighting the shift. Are you fighting the shift, or are you open to it? And let's see what this Scorpio energy is working through your fears. Queen of Air, brilliant, experienced, humorous. The Queen of Air, she doesn't mess around. She can be cool, she can be detached, and she cuts out anything that no longer serves us. It's time you work through your fears. It's time that you cut out that energy because it's not helping. Okay, so let's get some oracle cards. Oops, I just moved my camera. My apologies. Let's hope that that doesn't do something here that it shouldn't do. I apologize. Look at that. All right, so excuse me. Okay, on Monday, 9 of Earth, feeling good in your own skin. Yeah, Firefly, illumination, chemistry, magical self-discovery, soul spark, someone exceptional. You're absolutely exceptional, right? You are the prize, you are the snack, you don't chase, you only attract. Okay, I always say that. You're the prize, you're the snack, you're the whole buffet. Don't doubt yourself, okay? Now, that 3 of Water, that celebration, what are you grateful for? What are you celebrating? You're celebrating your freedom. You're breaking free. Yeah, your emotions are running high, but you have a desire to move yourself forward. You're going to unleash the inner beast. Yes, I like that. Do it. Okay. Now, the Magician, we talked about manifestation here. 2 cards came out. Okay. Yes, spring into action. I like that. And with that, though, we have the King of Water or the Chariot. The Chariot is victory, full speed ahead, all systems go. Being in tune with your emotions, feeling it. I mean, Cancer energy here is all about the emotions. I want you to feel it. In order to manifest, you have to feel like you have it. You can't just ask for it. You have to feel what it's like. Like, what does that relationship feel like to you? What does that job feel like to you? What does success feel like to you? And I recognize, like I said earlier, that not everybody knows what abundance feels like, but I want you to imagine what it feels like. You know, isn't that the beauty of imagination? You know, when we're children, we see things so beautifully. And if any of you have children, you know, they see things, they hear things, they feel things, and they're so innocent. And they know no bad. They really don't, until the realities of society, you know, pop up. Around age 6 or 7, the brainwaves change and we become programmed and we have unfortunate traumas and triggers and things happen. Yes, that's a part of life, but it's sad how we lose that innocence, you know? So I want you to go back to a state of dreaming, of the imagination and the beauty of the world. And funny that I said dreaming, because on this card it says dreams, wishes, happiness. What brings you happiness? What do you dream of? So on Thursday, yeah, you got to sweep away the old stuff. It's kind of interesting. Notice how, like, you know, the dandelion here, you know, she's like making that wish. I get it, you know, but like, I feel like there's this sweeping energy of like, let's sweep away the old and wish for the new. And funny, we have 11 and we have 11. So there's an 11, 11. Beautiful. New beginnings. Another number 1 over here as well. New beginnings. The Hermit is about searching your soul. And wow, the Man. You might be debating something about a man, okay? You might be this man, but this also indicates forward motion and masculine energy. And you might be thinking of ways to move yourself forward. And like I said, you can think about it all you want, but at some point you got to make a move, right? So Justice, equal giving and receiving. Got to make a move. We're here to play chestnut checkers. Okay, you got to take a risk. No risk, no reward. And, you know, this is becoming very significant over here because this energy of that 7 of Fire or 7 of Wands says, are you going to fight it? Are you going to hold yourself back? Are you going to tell yourself things just to keep you held backwards? No. Plain and simple. No. I won't let you. The Anchor is about stability and persevering and willpower, motivation. You got to find a way. You got to find a way. And a sneak peek at the following week. That Queen of Swords energy, yeah, perfect timing. It's time. It is time to make those boundaries. It is time to move yourself forward, okay? So let's take a couple Power of Surrender cards here just to see what you need to surrender or surrender to next week. Let's see. Surrender the habit of people pleasing. Speak your needs and be true to yourself. Focus on your own happiness instead of always trying to make everyone else happy. Exactly. Please yourself. Okay. Let's see, what else do we need to know? Surrender to inner peace. Absolutely. Cultivate inner peace on a daily basis. In quiet, meditative moments, focus on the stillness within and enjoy this inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will flow more easily. Well, maybe that's related to the take a breath, right? Take a moment. And also, I talked about energy exchange. When you feel at peace, other people around you will be at peace. You know, I used to always say this about being in a classroom. And I also attribute it to my lives on TikTok and Instagram. If I were to walk into the classroom angry, agitated, upset, what would I expect out of my students that day? I would be giving that energy and I would be receiving in return. If I go on to my live on TikTok and Instagram and I'm in that energy as well, angry, agitated, upset, I'm going to get that kind of resistance. I'm going to get people who are going to say things that aren't so nice. But one thing I pride myself on in my lives is that we don't have those issues. We have a very supportive online family. I always say I have the best online family. And I'm a real believer in the energy that goes out is what comes back. And so I always want people to feel seen and heard, and a part of something really lovely. So that's always been my way in a classroom or an online classroom for that matter, such as a live on social media. But I just want you to think about that. If you walk into work every day and you're miserable and you're angry, what do you expect from other people? And I think if everybody were more mindful of that, we'd have a much more peaceful world. But unfortunately, we don't always look at the bigger picture. So let's get a last one here just to see what else we need to know. Surrender denial. Accept people and situations exactly as they are without denying the difficulties. Then you can see things clearly and make the best decisions. Absolutely. That card kind of reminds me, again, back to that Seven of Fire, Seven of Wands we just talked about. So we want to see things for how they truly are so that we can address them and move ourselves forward. I really hope this resonates with you. Thank you so much for listening to my reading. As always, I appreciate a subscribe, a like, a comment. You all mean the world to me. So my gratitude runs very deep for what I do. And I wish you such an amazing week. Thank you very much.